Dad's 65th birthday was decorated with balloons and Mom's finest china, all of us acting like we were filming a commercial. But I knew better. With my brother in the room, nothing was ever that simple. "So, Dad," Evan said, raising his glass, "a perfect night for good news." At 35, he was the golden child, successful developer, wife named Lena, two adored children. I was 32, divorced, living back home while helping after Dad's heart attack 6 months earlier. "We've been looking at places in the suburbs," he announced. "More space, better schools." Mom beamed. "What does that mean for us?" "You and Dad can move in with us," he said proudly. "We'll buy a bigger house, with an in-law suite. Maybe even a pool." Dad frowned. "And this house? We've lived here for 30 years. "That's the best part," Evan continued. "We sell 1247 Willow Street and use the money toward the new place. The market is on fire, 800,000 easily. I already have a realtor. We can list by week's end." Cheers broke out. Lena smiled at me. "Nadia will land on her feet." "About time," Mom added. It stung. This was the porch where Dad steadied my bike. The roof we patched together. The kitchen where I had lined up his pills. Most importantly, it was my address. "Less than a week?" I asked. "Plenty of time," Evan replied. "Unless you're picky." The air felt tight. I stepped outside onto the porch and dialed a number I hadn't used in months. "Colin Mercer," answered a calm voice, senior partner at Mercer and Hale. "Colin, I need property records for 1247 Willow Street," I said. "Owner liens, anything recent." Keys clattered in the background. "Owner is Harborite Holdings LLC," he replied. "Foreclosed 18 months ago. Auctioned 14 months back. Harborite bought it." I exhaled slowly. "Harborite Holdings is me." Silence. Then a soft, understanding hum. I returned inside. They were already planning a wine cellar when I reached the table. "All done sulking?" Evans smirked. "Actually," I said, sliding into my chair, "I called my attorney." Mom rolled her eyes. "Nadia, don't be dramatic." "Colin Mercer. Mercer and Hale. Real estate law," I clarified. Dad's gaze sharpened. I asked what happens when someone tries to sell a house they don't own. Evan laughed too loudly. "Mom and Dad own this house." "They've lived here for 30 years, I corrected. "But they haven't owned it for the last 14 months. The room went silent. Willow Street was foreclosed after Dad's heart attack. It was sold at auction. The buyer of record is Harborite Holdings. "Who is that?" Lena asked. "Me." The impact was audible like glass cracking. "With what money?" Evan demanded. "My divorce settlement," I answered. "I used it to pay off the debt so Mom and Dad wouldn't lose their home. I stayed quiet because pride is a fragile thing." Mom's hands trembled on the rim of her plate. "Why wouldn't you tell us?" "Because Dad likes believing he kept a roof over our heads. I didn't want to turn that into a wound." I raised my phone. "Colin has all the records ready. He's also sending cease and desist letters to any realtor who tries to list the house without my approval." Voices erupted. Aunt Mara called it reckless. Uncle Sam called it mercy. Lena muttered about their plans. Evan leaned forward, jaw tight. "So we're all supposed to live under your secret?" "We're supposed to live by the deed," I replied. "And basic decency. You don't make someone homeless on a birthday." Dad cleared his throat, a sound that once called us to dinner. "Nadia," he said softly, "you did all of that?" "Yes." He rubbed his chest, as if flattening a wrinkle in time. "Then tonight we slow down." I powered off my phone. "And we stop the listing before it begins." Silence grew, until Evan snapped. "Choose," he demanded. "Come with us, or let Nadia control everything." Dad stood, slowly but steady. "We choose the daughter who kept us in this home," he said, taking my hand. Mom's eyes filled with tears. "We were blind. We're sorry." Evan's expression hardened. "Then we're done." He pulled Lena's hand and stormed out, chairs clattering behind them. The party sagged into an awkward quiet. I forwarded Colin's documents to the family group chat, including the cease and desist letters. The night ended with untouched cake and, finally, a safe house. Days slipped by peacefully. Dad's breathing steadied as he watched sparrows from the porch. He tinkered around the home, oiling a hinge, reattaching a drawer pull. Small proofs of belonging. Mom sorted bills, whispering, "No more secrets." I drafted a tenancy letter. They could stay as long as they wished for $1 a year. We all signed it. 3 weeks later, Evan called. His voice was stripped of its swagger. "I was cruel," he admitted. "We found another house. No pool yet. Can we try again?" "We can," I said, "with boundaries. You apologize. You stop measuring my worth by your plans. And you never spend what isn't yours." "Done," he whispered. That evening on the porch, Dad patted the railing. "Success," he murmured, "is keeping your people sheltered." I looked at the house I saved and thought, that will always matter.